Hello there and welcome to another Brightflow Data to Dashboard presentation. My name is Paul Clark and I work at Bright Systems, and here's a quick rundown of what we're going to be covering today. We're going to replicate some MS SQL data up into S3 using Brightflow Ingest. Once the data is landed in S3, we're going to apply a schema on read to the data to create a simple star schema with one fact and two dimensions, and then finally we're going to create a Tableau dashboard based on the said star schema. Okay, so what is Brightflow Ingest? Well, it's a near real-time mechanism for replicating source data into Amazon S3 or Redshift. We can source from MS SQL, Oracle, SAP or Salesforce. It's inexpensive, codeless, it has zero impact on source systems as it works off the change logs. The data is untransformed, basically it's a complete replica of source, and it also has point-in-time information which allows you to do point-in-time analytics. Before we start, let's review the data we're going to be using today. I'm running a standard MS SQL Server Express instance which has two databases. I'm interested in this one here, Bright MS SQL 2, and the specific tables are countries, population and year events. The population table is going to become our fact, and we can see we've got country codes and the population by year going across. We have a second table called countries, which is going to come our dimension, and again we have some ISO country codes and some other information such as the internet top level domain, the square kilometers area and a Wikipedia link. And then finally we've got a table which is again going to become a dimension, which is basically a list of the big news stories for each year. Okay, we're now on the Brightflow Ingest dashboard, and this shows the status of the current ingest process. Right now there's nothing really going on because we're just doing a demo. But if we move to the Connections tab, we can see our source database is Microsoft SQL Server, and there's our login information. Our destination file system is S3, and that's the destination of our data, pool population data, under the Bright testing bucket. And what we do now is we select our data from MS SQL 2, DBO and countries. Select that one there. Primary key with history, and the primary key in this case is the alpha 3 column. We apply that, and then click on full extract, and then we select population, and we do the primary key with history, and we select the primary key being country code, and we do apply and full extract. And then finally we do our third and final table, year events, and it's primary key with history, and the primary key in this case is year. We do apply, full extract, and then we move to the schedule tab and do sync new tables as per the instructions. Okay, the replication took a couple of minutes. We're now in our S3 browser, and we can go to the Bright testing bucket, into the population folder, the data folder, and we can see our three replicated tables. Countries, that indicates the last runtime, and we can have a quick preview of the data and see how it's just pipe delimited, and at the end we have our date and time columns and active row flag, so that allows us to do the point in time analytics. We're not going to be doing that today, but we can do that some other time. We've got population, and there's all the data, again pipe delimited, and then finally we have year events, and there's all of the news stories for each of the years. Now we have the data in S3, we're going to transform it using schema on read. But what exactly is schema on read? Basically, with schema on read, data is stored once and once only. The schema is applied only when the data is read. This facilitates an agile approach to development. Multiple iterations can be performed very quickly. It's well suited to unpredictable use cases for the data, and different schemas can be applied for each use case. Cloud technologies have been designed from the ground up to facilitate schema on read, so performance isn't the issue that it once was. Today we're going to be using Amazon Athena, the serverless analytical query engine for schema on read. And here's a very quick picture of our star schema. We have fact population, linking to dim country, and dim news. Okay, we're now in the Amazon Athena console, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a table based on our data in S3. So this is the S3 location that we defined earlier, and it's basically a create table, pretty standard notation. I'm just going to execute that to create the population table. And we can see that's been created over there. And then secondly, we're going to create based on the country data, the country table. And finally, we're going to create the year events table. Now, Amazon Athena doesn't create any extra data from this. It's just a table that sits on top of the S3 data, and you can just query it using very standard SQL. There's our population data. So we can see the country code going all the way over to the year. And then we have our country's information. Let's try that again. And then we have our year events data. Now, the countries and the year events resemble a dimension, but the population table does not resemble a fact. And the reason why is we have individual columns for each of the years. So we're going to apply a transformation on that, where we effectively pivot the data, and we also exclude some of the data that we're not interested in to create a view. So I'm executing that now. And we have the fact population created. And whilst I'm here, I'm just going to create a similar view for dimension country, which basically just gives us the active rows using the current flag V. And then finally, we will create the news table. Again, with the current flag V, and we filter the data between 1960 and 2015 because we're not really interested in pre-1960. And we can have a look at those transformed tables now. So this much more resembles a fact, where we have the country code and the year and the population as the measure. There's another country code. So this will now allow us to build our reports in a more traditional star schema manner. Here's the dimension country. Very standard stuff there. Primary key being the country code. And there's the dim news. Primary key being the year. Now we have our facts and dimensions created in Athena, we can actually use them in Tableau and create a simple dashboard. So as you can see here, I'm using the Athena Amazon connection. There are my three tables, fact population, dim country, and dim news, joined together as shown. And I've created a few simple reports, which is population by year, the news story of the year, and then a map. And then I've put them all together with the population table to create a dashboard, which gives you the population breakdown for a specific year and the news stories. So that's 1960. There's 1990, where the World Wide Web debuts, and 2015. And then I've created a second dashboard with, again, country, a list of country information from dim country, and finally another dashboard which displays the population and, the population and the area of the country, and a Wikipedia link for the countries. Okay, that sort of concludes today's demonstration. Really appreciate your time and attention, and should you want to know any more, please feel free to get in touch with us at Bright Systems.